The Duke is based on the true story of when the nation bought a Goya portrait of the Duke of Wellington for £140,000. And shortly after that, it was nicked from the National Gallery. And it was nicked by a man from Newcastle. And then he held it to ransom and said that he'd give it back if the government agreed to give free TV licenses for old age pensioners. It's a wonderful story. I mean, it's a great script. Anyway, it's a great script by Richard Bean and Clive Coleman. It's delicious to read. It's so funny and so clever. It's a quintessentially British film, really. Kempton Bunton is a complex man. He doesn't hold down any jobs for very long, but he bounces back and he's into the next one, and he's out getting he's a taxi driver. He works in a bakery. He's a sort of autodidact, and he writes plays, and none of which get put on, but he's sending them off. He's a very optimistic guy. And my character, he's a sort of, in a way, he's a classic clown in a way, but he's got very good intentions, and he's very honourable, and he's also slightly foolish, and it's an interesting, complicated character. He's got a lot of light and shade, and it is a comedic role, but there's an awful lot at stake. It is quite serious. It's got the perfect balance, really, from my point of view. The whole thing is a surprise that it did happen, that this guy got this painting out of the National Gallery, and it was a wonderful Robin Hood tale in a way. Helen Mirren's playing my wife, she's Dorothy, or Dolly, and it's wonderful. It's great seeing Helen playing this sort of character role for a change, and she's brilliant, and it's a laugh, and we get on great. It's a real treat for me to be able to work with her. Finn plays my son Jackie, and quite a lot with Jackie. He's very central to the story, and he's brilliant young man. They're so clever, these youngsters. It's a sort of 1961 in Newcastle, I think, when Roger, as the director's sort of taken the idea that in very early 60s in Newcastle it hadn't moved on as much as it had in London, and it's still a 1950s world to a degree up in that part of the northeast. So and that whole atmosphere is fantastic, created. Worked with Roger before on filmed The Weekend in Paris, and it's just a joy. He's great. I mean, he's a wonderful filmmaker and he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's fantastic with actors. And he does a lot of theatre, and he understands actors so well and what we can do, and he encourages us, and a very good communicator, and some wonderful ideas he brings to the whole shoot. Really, and couldn't be happier with working with any director, really. I hope that they'll be moved and entertained and encouraged to look out for other people.
Will the defendant please stand? Kempton Bunton, you stole from the National Gallery a priceless portrait of the Duke of Wellington by Goya.
Not very good, is it?
We're convinced that the Goya has been stolen by a highly professional, international criminal gang. Almost certainly a trained commando.
You all right? Bit of biscuit. I can explain.
Shock, yes, I'm shocked there's a stolen masterpiece in my wardrobe.
For what?
Charity.
What's he actually asking for?
All people should have free television viewing.
I'm living with a madman.
I'm tackling social injustice. I'm like Robin Hood.
You're an idiot.
The taxpayer paid for that bin. They could have given thousands to war widows and pensioners. It's for the greater good of mankind.
Mankind? What about your own kind? How long will you get?
I don't know. 10 years.
You could have told me. We could have dealt with it together.
He is not a thief. He borrowed your Goya to do a bit of good in this world.
Every time someone gets cut off from the rest of us, this country becomes a foot shorter.
人々を思い、そして優しく寄り添った名もなき男の感動の物語。ゴヤの名画と優しい泥棒。